This is the story of Pioneer Electric Cooperative, located in the heart of South Central Alabama, and it all began in the late 1930s. It's a story of people helping people. It's a story of bringing electricity to rural areas. It's a story of leadership, innovation, and commitment. It's a story that will continue for generations. The 1930s were times of poverty and high unemployment. We know it as the Great Depression. Life was hard on the farm and many chores were carried out manually. For longtime Pioneer Electric members, the memories are still there.
You had wood stoves and wood heaters, and you heated your sad irons on the stove or in the fireplace. You cooked with wood, or if you had a gas stove, you cooked with gas. But life was good, it was simple, and we loved it even though we didn't know what electricity was going to do for us.
I can see now we needed it, but we didn't know we needed it. Because if we would have a few night programs like concert or some Friday nights, entertainment, we had to carry our lamps, a lantern, or use candles. Not so much candles, but we had oil lamps, kerosene. And families would bring a lamp, and we would spot them around in the church or in the school building. And there we were, had light.
The city of Greenville first received electricity in 1904. Investor-owned utility companies refrained from building out into sparsely populated rural areas that did not provide an adequate return on their investment.
Farmers were left out in the cold. They didn't have any electricity. They didn't have the amenities that we take for granted today, like refrigerators, washing machines, TVs. You know, back then, if they had a radio, it had to be battery operated.
It wasn't until 1935 when President Franklin Roosevelt created the Rural Electrification Administration as one of his New Deal programs that a series of events was set in motion that would forever change the American countryside. The REA accelerated the formation of the rural electric cooperatives that finally energized rural America.
Without the cooperatives, you know, there would be no electricity provided to the people in the rural areas. And, you know, the power company then provided, so we had to come up with a model, and the model was the cooperative.
The REA lent cooperatives money with reasonable terms and interest rates. Hundreds of rural electric cooperatives sprung up across the nation overnight.
There were lots of people that wanted electricity, but the power lines were not available.
Now, with the federal government's support, farmers and local businessmen across Butler County had the means to change things and began looking for ways to bring electricity to their rural areas.
It was really the only way that the rural population was going to get electricity. I guess probably the closest thing we would have to it today would be the fact that you know, in the cities and towns, internet is widely used, and when you get out into some of the rural areas, it's still a hard thing to get in some places.
On December 27, 1937, their plan fell into place. Pioneer Electric Cooperative was founded that night. Back then, it was called the Butler County Electric Membership Corporation. The co-op started out with just one substation and 249 miles of line to serve over 700 families in a 4-county area.
The first thing we got was a radio. Then eventually we got electric churn. And then we got electric iron. And then eventually my mother got a little mixer.
Frances Avon was only 19 when she began her career with the co-op. She says it was history in the making.
Rural electrification changed America more than most anything that ever happened, I think. It was the most marvelous thing because it brought about an equal understanding of the people. And I don't say that the people in the country felt inferior, but they did not have that freedom to do a lot of things that people in the cities did. But after the electricity came, it changed the whole precept.
The time was coming to us, and so we liked that. We had lights and could get appliances and hear radio programs.
On March 6, 1939, the lights came on for the first time in the rural areas of Butler County. A historic marker now marks the spot not far from where that house stood on Also Mill Road. 75 years later, the co-op's Board of Trustees and its staff are remembering that day, a true reflection of just how far things have come.
This house that we're standing near is the first house that was energized 75 years ago, and beside it here we have our refurbished marker that has just been redone. It was originally placed here in 1985, and we're going to unveil it again today.
And members of Pioneer Electric Cooperative still benefit from the hard work and foresight of yesterday's co-op pioneers.
We know where we've come from, and it helps us, go right into where we need to go, and, to improve our lifestyle and, improve the lifestyle of people that we serve.
In the 80s, Pioneer Electric addressed another critical need of rural communities and neighborhoods: water.
Individual water wells and water services were drying up, so there was a definite need for someone to step in and meet this critical need. It was the next best thing we could do after bringing electricity to the countryside, was meeting the need of a plentiful and safe supply of drinking water.
In 1985, the cooperative began a program by which customers could finance satellite dishes and have access to programming previously available only on cable. A franchise was acquired from DirecTV and eventually served more than 8,000 customers.
Everybody wanted good television reception, whether it was a weather report they needed or the current news of the day.
As you can see, the cooperative has never stopped improving the quality of life for South Central Alabama, but community development did not stop there. Pioneer secured rural development loans and grants to assist entrepreneurs in creating an incubator facility known as the Innovation Center. Located in Selma, the facility is used to hatch small businesses into larger industries that can eventually expand into the South Dallas Industrial Park, which currently houses 9 industries that employ more than 500 people. The cooperative was also successful in securing federal funding for a heliport and beacon at a local hospital through a USDA grant, as well as a NOAA weather radio transmitter tower for increased coverage needed for weather warnings. Co-op members have seen many positive changes over the years, changes in the cost and the kind of energy that powers our lives. We've all benefited from improved appliances, better equipment, and modern technology. But one thing hasn't changed: the mission to provide members with safe, reliable, and affordable electric service. And we've added some features to our service to make sure our members know that we are indeed looking out for them.
Some of the highest bills that we see or that we have from our members at Pioneer Electric are from mobile homes. This has always been a need in that they need some improvements. They need to actually replace the old obsolete electric furnace, which uses a lot of energy. They needed replacing these things. There are a lot of improvements that were needed. Most of these people are low-income households who could not afford to make the improvements. In 2006, when we discovered a grant for low-income, high-energy use households, it was a grant that we wanted to pursue to try to assist our members.
That grant helped Pioneer retrofit more than 200 homes and lowered their energy costs by nearly 40%. Pioneer was one of the first co-ops in the nation to pursue funds to help low-income households and has since served as a model for similar efforts in other rural areas. Another way Pioneer is looking out for its members is through the launch of the Co-op Connections card, which helps members save on everyday purchases. The card includes discounts on prescriptions and coupons for groceries, not only in our service area, but with participating businesses across the country. We continue to be committed to the communities we serve and are active leaders in the economic development efforts of Alabama's rural areas. And we continuously educate our public about electrical safety, as well as our members about the everyday activities of our co-op through our Members First program. As in 1939, our promise to you is to incorporate the latest technologies and innovations in the electric service industry, such as automated meter reading, and in 2012, we accomplished that goal.
With the smartphones, the tablets, computers that everyone tends to have today, they can actually monitor their usage more closely and actually see, if I wash clothes, it costs me this amount of money. If I run the TV, it costs this amount of money. So they can kind of watch what they're doing and control their usage a lot more today than ever before, just from the fact that everything is pretty much automated today.
Today, Pioneer Electric serves more than 13,000 homes and businesses across South Central Alabama, and we're still owned, governed, and served by the members who directly use, pay for, and benefit from the co-op's electric service. Pioneer Electric Cooperative is committed to energizing future generations across South Central Alabama for the next 75 years as we keep looking out for you.
Our goal is to serve our members, to assist them in whatever way we can. If they come in and say we need some help somewhere, we're going to look at that possibility as we have in the past. When we've had water issues in the past, we got into water systems. When we had television concerns in the past, we got into satellite dish. And so we're looking at those areas for the future as to where we can help. And if there's a void somewhere and people need some help, we're going to work on it.